What's happening, big dogs? Back at you again with this week's narrative. Noah, hit that, baby. This week's narrative. You've got to pay attention to first-time depth charts. I'm on Twitter these days, and all I see is one, people posting depth charts, and then two, premature victory lappers lapping the fucking field because their player was listed first on those depth charts. I don't know what you guys think about this. Like personally, like I think I call them coffee boy depth charts because I'm almost positive that they're prepared by the team coffee boys. There is literally no reason or zero incentive for coaches to release a really legitimate depth chart for their first week one matchup because this is like the biggest advantage they have, right? Like nobody's seen anyone play, nobody knows any of the offseason work, nobody knows any of the strategies, any of the playbook, anything like that. Why the fuck would you tell people like who you're gonna start like right away? Like to be honest with you, like the most of these depth charts, they play out more like seniority than they do real depth charts. Because, for example, if you look at the Baltimore Ravens depth chart, J.K. Dobbins, I think, was listed as the RB4.
I'm trying to find the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers probably have like Justin Jackson listed as the starting running back. Like that's what the word starter doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The depth chart doesn't fucking matter. Getting the first snap of the game doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Brown was released. It was announced that Malcolm Brown was the starter. But then if you read the actual article, it says it's more likely that Cam Akers going to get the majority of the touches in the game. So, again, early season depth charts are fucking meaningless unless they confirm exactly what I want them to confirm. But outside of that, I just don't really care about them. I don't know. Like, do you guys pay much attention to early season depth charts? Like, normally I'd watch snaps from preseason, but we don't have that this year. So I think people are really hanging on these depth charts.
Do you remember last year that 1 week in Kansas City where they're like, oh, Darwin Thompson's number one on the depth chart, Gerald Williams is number two, and LaShawn McCoy at that point in the season fucking stunk, and then he scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns that game. I think from that point forward, depth charts like hasn't even been in my vocabulary at all. I'm looking at the Chargers right now, Nick. They have Justin Jackson as the RB2, which is kind of respectful because Joshua Kelly fucking stinks. But they also have Mike Williams as the wide receiver too, and he has like no back or any shoulder on his body right now. So I definitely don't listen to the depth charts unless, as Mike said, it affirms my previous beliefs. I kind of like James Robinson. I have him in a few leagues. Him being the RB1. Every league he's in, he's on the trade block right now. So if you're watching this and you're in a league, go get him because he's the RB1 on the very heralded Jacksonville Jaguars offense with an incredible offensive line and a great run game as we saw at Leonard Fournette last year. But as you're saying, yeah, depth charts at this point in the season and basically most of the season, if it looks fishy, it's probably just because the coach or whoever released it is just being an idiot and just trying to like play mind tricks, and we all know what the truth is.
I feel like that's a little bit different though with James Robinson. Is like you don't expect him to be like first in the depth chart, right? So when someone's surprised like that, I'm like, oh, like that's kind of interesting. Like similarly, like Chris Conley and Laviska Shenault are listed ahead of D Westbrook on the Jacksonville Jaguars like depth chart. So like that was like kind of interesting. Like again, I don't pay much mind into it, but it's like when a veteran stinks so bad that they need to put you behind rookies and other players, then I'm like, it's like kind of like a red flag. It's kind of like how I treat like camp reports. Yeah, it's kind of like how I treat camp reports. Like I don't really care about
carry on. Yeah,
I don't really care about like fluff pieces, but like when bad news comes out, I'm like, shit. Like now I'm like kind of paying attention. So that's kind of how I deal with those. But yeah, it's a little bit of a unique scenario. I also have James Robinson everywhere, and he's on the trade block. But he's only on the trade block for an inordinate amount of returns. So if you're coming with less than 2 future rookie firsts, please do not DM me. I will be turning that shit down. All right. I think that's it, man. We don't want to spend too much time talking about shitty ass depth charts because it's a waste of time, just like mock drafts. So make sure you guys fade both of those things going forward from henceforth and forever. That's it for this week. Hope y'all enjoyed. We're going to fucking bed because I'm tired. I know it's 8 p.m., but I'm still going to sleep.
No sleep till Saturday, till Sunday.